The major and trending topic around the country, Nigeria, has been about the long queues at filling stations. You ask why. Of course, September was the day we were expecting for a good thing, a turnaround for the country because we have Dangote refinery to start supplying. Meanwhile, there's been a lot of trending stories about that development into that story. On Friday, there was a report also from the federal government that long queues would actually become a thing of the past. But of course, today, as we have in the news, we have that no guarantee of lower prices, says NNPC. So from the shortage of fuel now to availability of fuel, but the prices, we are not so sure of what or how much is going to go for a liter. That's exactly one of the trending topics today. And of course, we'll get into many more trending topics today on this edition of Newspaper Review. Welcome, my name is Anuoluwapo Idowu, and I have the honor of having one elder statesman, I would like to call him, someone who is also in the thick of things as regards the politics of this very country, an average Nigerian who is also interested in every detail. You know, just like we say that the only way to avoid criticism is to say nothing, do nothing, and be nothing. So he has decided to say something, do something, and become something. Good morning, Mr. Samson.
Well, good morning to you, Anuoluwapo Idowu. It's really an honor to be here and to talk about the politics in Nigeria playing out in all facets of life. Thank you for having me.
All right, so straight one, how did you get to work today? Did you also queue, or you bought your fuel over the night, or you have some people that give you sideways fuel?
Well, even if you are going to have some people who gives you fuel, you still have to pay an extra cost. So what's the point? All you have to do, it's either you invest your time or you invest your money. So either way, you are still investing something. So basically, I had to, call someone, please get me fuel. So that person had to queue on my behalf because I had some things to do. But be that as it may, the fact still remains that even the rich, the poor, and the average are still suffering the same fate in the country as regards fuel scarcity. One of the things I feel we should be looking at is the fact that so many people are holding their monies in their hands, they still cannot get that particular commodity they are
Product,
looking
yeah.
for. So, and that is a major problem. That is a potential disaster for the nation. It causes artificial scarcity. When people know that people have a lot of money to spend, but the product is not readily available. Either some people are hoarding it just to sell at a higher price, or for the fact that they are waiting for prices to naturally increase due to artificial scarcity created by the people themselves. So either of the way is still a major problem that needs to be addressed in the country as we speak.
And speaking of addressing the problem, let's start with that particular story. Before now, we heard the story that, okay, few tẹ́lẹ̀ wọlé àbí. Ṣé kí n bèrè question again? Kí ni nǹkan tí mo fi wọlé yẹn? Ẹ sọ àwọn nǹkan tí mo fi láì tí mo fi wọlé yẹn. Omi speaking of.
The address.
Okay. So, yeah. So speaking about addressing that situation, we need to talk about it. Of course, today, help us into this, Mr. Sampson. To address this situation, there was the case of queues and now the case of price. What exactly is the federal government doing, or what should they do to help us out of this matter? Walk us through this development.
Well, the question we should be asking right now is that is the government working in favor of the people? if they are working in favor of the people, there are a lot of steps that needs to be taken. First of all, there should be availability. Even if it is going to be expensive, it should be readily available. That is one. Two, and then the fact that if it is available, it should be affordable for the people. Now, let's take for example, recently we got to know that the NNPC is the sole importer of fuel in Nigeria. So it means that when they bring it into Nigeria, they sell to other independent marketers, and then those people sell to small scale business owners, people who actually have one or two gas stations, and that's what we have been battling recently. Don't forget, our fuel is being imported from other countries. We export crude oil, and then we import ready-made fuel, finished products, and I want to say there are a lot of questions that we need to ask this current administration. Well, we should ask past governments too. Why is it that we have about 4 refineries in Nigeria, and there are still some modular refineries all around the country in some places, let me say. Why is it that we do not have a functioning refinery? Then we are dependent on what we bring into Nigeria. Don't forget, a buying economy is a dying economy. If you continue to buy and you are not producing,
like you're consuming,
if
but
you are a
not producing.
consuming economy, then the economy is going to die a natural death. It's a law. It's no rocket science. So the truth of the matter is, we have to understand the fact that we need to retain our buying power. Yes, that's fine. But then the fact is that we have to produce within Nigeria if we want to strengthen the naira. And don't forget, recently there has been a lot of back and forth as regards who takes over from Dangote Refinery. Yes, you have built this refinery, but then we want to be buying from you as the sole importer of fuel into the country, and then we'll be selling to other independent marketers, and that was what led to the ban of independent marketers from buying from Dangote refineries. Now, the point is, charity, they say, begins at home. If we cannot refurbish any of our refineries for this time frame, the number of years that it has been there. Don't forget, some people knot their ties, drive their cars, and go to these refineries and say they are going to work on a daily basis.
Moribund
refineries. They go there, Ajaokuta still rolling is there. People go there, they say they are going to work on a daily basis. These are places where Nigeria has actually missed their priorities. What should we be doing? I have got to understand the fact that there are a lot of people in Nigeria, a few percentage, let me say about just about 2% or 1% of Nigerians who actually thrive on the fact that the people are suffering. Yorubas will call them Arije and Modaru. So if things are smooth for the people, then they are not making money. But if it becomes hard for the people to survive, that's how they thrive, that's how they make their money. Take, for example, there are some people who have been earning a lot of billions on fuel subsidy in recent years. The president said it, the current president said, this fuel subsidy has been going to a few set of people. And if we must stop this, we have to remove fuel subsidy. Nobody is saying the president should not remove the fuel subsidy. But I want to let the president know something. The people are not asking for too much. All they want is an enabling environment for them to thrive. What do they need? Let there be fuel at a reasonable rate. Let there be good roads. Let them have good purchasing power. Take, for example, your 1,000 naira is as useless as anything the moment you spend 50 naira or 100 naira. I was citing an instance recently. I went to a recording studio and I discovered that there is a particular place, a major entrance, and someone left 50 naira there. And nobody has, for 2 hours while I was sitting down there, nobody came to say, this is my money. There was a time that 50 naira, nobody will put it there. It will be in your pocket. But the person left it there because it is as useless as anything right now. Because you cannot even buy anything with it. The only thing you can buy is water. That 50 naira at a time could have actually gotten you a bag of pure water.
Yeah, true.
But now, you can only get one. So meaning that the president has actually fulfilled his promises. I'll tell you why. One, he said he was going to widen the tax net while he was campaigning. Nobody asked him questions. How are you going to do it? He has done it. He said they are going to reduce your purchasing power. They have done it. They are going to slow down the economy. They have done. These are the three key things he said during his campaign. Now, take a critical look at your environment. Are these things not happening? You can't really buy anything with 1,000 naira. Initially, in a country in Nigeria, if you want to cook spaghetti, just have 1,000 naira and all is done. Even there will be meat and there will be fish in it. But now you can't even buy spaghetti with 1,000 naira. The last time I checked, I think it is about 1,050 naira for the cheapest ones. 1,050 naira. Now it means that if you have 1,000 naira, I'm sorry, you cannot successfully say I have money. And there was a time that 1,000 naira is enough for you to do anything. You can actually send 1,000 naira to someone. There was a time when you send 1,000 naira to your cousins in school, they will say, Egbon, thank you, God bless you. But when you do that now, they ask you questions. 1,000, they will not say thank you. But the point is, where are we going on fuel? The government, Dangote Refinery came out to say that they don't have an agreement with the government on what price the fuel is to be sold.
It's to be sold, yes.
There was a time we heard that they are waiting for the president to return from China,
yes,
so that they can decide what price. It should be Dangote's business to decide what price he wants to sell. It's his business.
Maybe we can say Tinubu or the Tinubu-led administration is trying to also come in so that they would try to marginalize the price so that it doesn't get too much for an average Nigerian. Maybe
it doesn't get too much for an average Nigerian, and they are ready to tie it to forex. Don't forget, this message is coming from the government themselves.
Absolutely.
That they want to tie the price of fuel to forex. So if Naira loses value and dollar goes up, automatically fuel goes up in Nigeria, where Dangote Refinery himself buys with Naira. What logic is that?
we might need to take this conversation a step further. Of course, for one of time, we have to also move on to another story. You know, writers like Chinua Achebe once wrote, "Things fall apart." I wonder if these guys are currently around. What would they say? Things are falling, or things are not even existing. Perhaps we don't know what exactly is going to be their testimony for this current situation, the current Nigerian state as we have now. Another story actually broke out talking about education, and it was quite a big deal. There's been a lot of conversation. That's particular, according to Tayi Mama, who is the Minister of Education. He said they are going back on it now. But of course, should they not have thought before now? So, what do you make of this big story of 18 years before uni?
I think before the government takes any step, they have to think it through before bringing out to the public. Don't forget, this is not the first time they are doing this, especially this administration. They come out and say, this is what we want to do. And when there is a form of backlash from the people, they go back into their shells, they re-strategize and come back again. Don't forget when they were trying to do something about student loan, NEL fund and the likes. There was a time they came out and said, you need a guarantor of this caliber, and people like, if we had this guarantor, we would not need this loan in the first place. So they went back and said, okay, this issue of guarantors, we want to leave it out.
Just be civil servants, and that's
just
fine.
be a civil servant, and that's fine. I think that's just one of the things they have actually said, and they have actually gone back to actually do everything. News broke out a few minutes ago that Ajuri Ngelale stepped aside as the spokesperson for the president. See, I want to be honest with you. If things are going on this way in the country, if you really have any form of any iota of fear of God, any iota of integrity whatsoever, you need to step aside from this administration. I'm going to tell you why. No matter how good the administration has actually planned to, make things look for Nigerians, I think it is getting worse by the day. there was a time that people really do not care about who goes into government, who is there, who is the president, who is the governor. They really do not care because they feel like, yes, we are still okay. We can actually afford 2-3 square meals in a day. But today, are there even squares? Not to talk of adding meals to it. You find the reason why Nigerians have been pushed to resort to religion as a way out. And that's why we have so many people in churches, in mosques, at shrines. It is because, see, some of the things we pray for in Nigeria is primarily the responsibility of the government. Have you ever thought about your cousins who were going to churches every day of their lives, and the moment they get to travel out of the country, they become less of a prayer warrior? Why? It is because they no longer pray for them not to die of an accident. Because there are good roads. That is one. They no longer pray about what to eat because food is everywhere. You can actually buy with as low as $1, you will feed. Not even one meal, you will feed. So it tells you that what's the equivalent of a dollar in Nigeria? I think 1,650
yes,
naira.
over the weekend.
Can you do 2 square meals with 1,200 reasonable meals with 1,650 naira? It's a no. But the truth of the matter is, you have a dollar in those countries, a pound in the UK, it shows that you can still feed yourself and still have, some money.
It speaks volume of their economy.
Of their economy. But the economy is dying in Nigeria because one of the things we have failed to do is to invest in the production industry.
Absolutely.
And how are we going to invest in the production industry? You see all those bike men you are seeing out there, some of them are electrical engineers. Some of them, they repair electrical gadgets. So without electricity, they cannot work. Now, if, for example, you bring me a laptop to fix for you, as as an engineer that fixes a laptop, and I charge you, let's say 5,000 naira, and I need fuel, and I have to work on your laptop for 5 hours. How do I get fuel? With 5,000 naira that I've charged you, how do I work on your laptop for 5 hours? It means I'm going to leave your laptop in my office and go and also out there and come back to my shop. Most of them will now come back to their shops in the evening after they have also maybe as a driver, as a bike man, alternative sources of income. And then you begin to wonder, what exactly do Nigeria need? I said it earlier, they don't need too much. Give them electricity, give them power. That is one. Give them good roads. Let there be affordable housing. Let there be food. Take, for example, Oyo State has a lot of arable lands. You can't even imagine how big these expanses of land is. But the truth of the matter is, in Oyo State, only 6 states have no space where you can plant anything because they are the urbanized areas. They are within the Ibadan metropolis, so there is no space for you to plant anything. But the remaining states, 27 of them out of 33, they have a lot to give to Oyo State. But nobody is tapping into it.
Okay, you mean local government?
Local government. Nobody is tapping into it because go to Okeogun, go and see how beautiful that place is. And these are areas we need to invest in. Invest in agriculture, invest in tourism. These are ways to make money. But nobody is tapping into it. They feel. And if they are going to tap into it, they put their friends, their cronies at the helms of affairs there. Take, for example, recently the Oyo State government said they were going to invest in sugarcane. Yes, the refinery has been there for a lot of time. I think they invested around 50 million naira in that sugarcane factory. But don't forget, Oyo State is one of the highest producers of cassava in Nigeria, in fact, in Africa. They are not investing in that area. Where is their strength? But do we plant sugarcane in Oyo State? It means we have to import that.
From the
but
north.
while we are actually planting, that we are kings over, we can't even process them. I think the only major cassava processing plants we have in Oyo State is owned by an individual. I think one is in the Ishai. If the Oyo State government has one, it has to be at one of the farms around the Ishai too. But the truth of the matter is, this is an area we have to harness because cassava has a lot to give to the people. Aside from processing gari, there is a lot we can gain from cassava. But we are not tapping into it. So what do we do? So it shows that we are the problem. How do you put incompetent people in power? Is by voting them in. And these people are not aliens. They are humans. They grew up in the same area we grew up. So we voluntarily put them in power. And it is difficult for us to pull them out because they have successfully weaponized poverty. So what they do now is that they starve you for 4 years, 3.5 years, and they come back after maybe 6 months to another election, and they start throwing money around. And the people will now start singing, Bo ti edibo, oti wole, and that is the end of their suffering. So after that, they pick up again after the election.
Which way Nigeria? I guess that's the song that has been ringing in my head. I've been trying to look out for the right way to sing the song. Which way Nigeria? Of course, another story that I would like us to take is also about the certificate verification issue. Nigerian nurses in UK, US forced back home. I got an insider's gist actually from a medical doctor who told me how that there was a time when a particular university graduated medical students, and almost just a week after that graduation, that convocation, about 80% of them left the country immediately. Just a week after, they could not find 80% of them again in the country. And you would not ask me why people are traveling. People need to look for greener pastures. You would agree with me. But of course, it's now coming that there is something that the government is doing in Nigeria, that they are revoking their certificate. They are not giving certificate just after you leave. In fact, I think there are clauses that you must have worked for a period of
Period
time
of time.
to even get a certificate now, to get that verification of a certificate. Now, people will need to come back to Nigeria. Are you forcing people back to where they were suffering? What exactly is the case here for the government? What are they doing, or what should they have done to really handle this situation well?
I think brain drain is one thing we cannot avoid in a country like Nigeria. Uh, as a professional, I was speaking to someone recently. I said, uh, no one can actually adequately pay a professional because uh, as individuals, you get to understand the fact that there is always a better offer for you somewhere else. And that's exactly what these people are doing. When they discover that if they travel out of the country, their problem is half solved. So that's exactly what you get. But recently we heard, I think about 6 months ago, the news broke that the government is saying at least you must have worked in the country for a year or
Or
so
2 years?
before you can actually, be given the license to actually travel. I think this is one of the most cruel thing I have ever actually seen. It's more or less like tying people down. See, people have a lot to offer this country, but the country has nothing to offer the people. Okay. So you get to understand the fact that go to the UK, go to America, go to Canada, go to Australia, go to their hospitals, ask them questions, just do a mini population census there. Out of every 10 doctors you will see, especially in the UK, ask them if they are Nigerians. You get to understand the fact that I can say out of 10 doctors, you will see three of them minimum. That's the minimum. I'm just saying because I don't have the fact here. You will see at least 3 or 4 of them who are Nigerians. Especially if you ask questions about nurses, you will discover that most Nigerians, especially women, when they get to the UK, they go for midwifery courses and they become nurses there. It's a lot of money. When they transfer money to Nigeria and they see how people change money, even their friends who are professionals at government hospitals, they want to travel. That's what they do. And it becomes a problem for the country, and then they are looking for ways to fix things. If you're going to fix things, I think you need to fix the country first. Don't just pen people down to the country because you want them here. See, it is difficult to keep a person that doesn't want to stay with you in the same space because they are going to eventually be frustrated. Now, what the government can actually do is to look inward. Have they actually invested in the health sector? If they have done that, how much have they invested? Do these people really have the facilities to help them grow as individuals, as professionals? And then the truth of the matter is, let's now look into this critically. The point remains that the sector is not balanced. Even Nigeria has a huge, issues that should be solved, and I have mentioned a lot of them. But let's look inward. If we fix Nigeria, Nigerians would want to be in Nigeria. But if we fail to fix Nigeria, Nigerians will find other countries more attractive than Nigeria. Do you even know that Nigerians actually travel to Libya to live? If you get to Somalia, you'll find Nigerians. If you get to Central African Republic, you'll find Nigerians. There's arguably no country in the world that you not find a Nigerian. And if you get to any country and you cannot find a Nigerian, then leave, because there is nothing there. But if you get there and you speak Yoruba, you speak Igbo, you speak Hausa, and you see people that say, oh, that's my language, then you should know that there is a lot going on there. But the truth of the matter is Nigerians are industrious people. You cannot, that's a fact you cannot actually take away from them. So if you have this kind of talents, this pool of talents, and professionals who are good at what they do, who are multi-talented, and they really have a lot to offer the country, why can't we just sit them down and ask them questions? What do you really need? The government has the capacity to fix anything, anytime. So if they are not fixing it, it shows that the government is complicit to the problem we are having in the country. Don't forget, so there was something about insecurity when they said if insurgency or insurrection, lasts more than a day in a particular country or a particular settlement, it shows that the people in power in that particular area know about it, and that's the truth. So it's not like they do not know what to do, but how are they going about it? That's the problem. So it is one thing to make a policy. It is another thing to successfully implement it, to suit what is actually on ground. You cannot bring a policy that is currently being implemented in America to the Nigerian setting without actually modifying it to suit the Nigerian people.
Peculiar,
We have peculiar problems. So Nigerian problem is peculiar to Nigerians. American problem is peculiar to Americans. So you cannot copy a template and bring it to Nigeria and expect it to work smoothly. Take, for example, the system of government we currently practice is copied from where? You cannot even say. Because in the UK, there's a way they practice governance. In the America, there's a way. But the problem is Nigerians, we have the Senate, we have the House of Representatives, we have two bodies that makes laws in Nigeria. We have the executive, the judiciary, and all these things put together. Where has it taken Nigerians? But when we're practicing regional system of government, things were much more better than this, because every region knows that no matter how little your resources are, you still have to be up and doing. But right now, they are so relaxed that they know that at the end of each month, they are going to get something from the federal government. So majority of these states now are civil servant states. Take a look at Osun State, for example. Osun State and Oyo State were once together.
Yeah.
And they were doing excellently well. Look at the Cocoa House. These are businesses established under the Odua Group, and they are still there under the whole Oyo State. What is happening to Osun now? What is happening to Oyo State now? What is happening to Ogun State? These are states that are blessed and they have a lot to give to the people.
So let me put you on the spot right away. What you're advocating for is regional government.
Yes.
Absolutely. Of course, there's another story I would like us to take. Tinubu's ex-spokesperson, Ajuri Ngelale, can now rest and add some weight. That's coming from Shehu Sani. But of course, we will not continue on this. When we come back for another edition, you can stay tuned and we'll have many of these stories to go around. Thank you so very much, Mr. Samson Balogun.
Thank you for
being
me
in the house today.
Yeah.
Once again, my name is Anuoluwapo Idowu, and it's been a nice conversation with you Nigerians. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned because we have subsequent programs and editions coming your way, but just in a few hours, days, maybe. Stay tuned.